Almost a decade ago, a game developer named Tri-Ace formed and precipitated a number of under-the-radar hits like Star Ocean and Valkyrie Profile. These titles were unique in reinventing the visual and combat standards of RPG at the time. But this isn't about Tri-Ace. Rather, this story is about Tri-Crescendo, the sound developer of Tri-Ace's games. Like a concert master waiting in the wings for a solo, Tri-Crescendo has stepped up as an independent developer with its latest effort, Eternal Sonata, a classical music-themed RPG befitting of its melodic pedigree. It's easy to be skeptical, but a unique story, breathtaking visuals, and a consistent package lend greatness to this piece of concert magic. But how does it play?
And since we can see what's going on, it's up to us to let them know.
Eternal Sonata follows a fictional retelling of Frédéric François Chopin's death. The famed composer is at his deathbed, locked in slumber, mere moments before his passing. But the true action plays behind his stirring thoughts, where a dream world of fanciful environments and people unravel before the player's eyes. It's here that we meet a band of characters including Polka, a terminally ill magic user, Allegretto, a good-natured pickpocket, Beat, his pint-sized photographer sibling, and the Andentinos, a group of freedom fighters led by their dauntless leader, Jazz. Together, their paths intertwine in the struggle against Count Waltz, a diminutive despot laying claim to everything in the land.
Nothing can stop me!
The synopsis, at first, sounds like the stuff of bedtime stories, but the premise is a host to a honeycomb of themes like mortality, existentialism, and of course love. The bittersweet prose often makes for some long-winded soliloquies and idyllic moments, a slow and deliberate pacing that the game and its plot take throughout the course of the story. The subtle writing is a pleasing diversion, working in tandem with the game's lush visuals and soft piano pieces. But players wanting to keep the beat going can just as easily skip through these slow segments. Pacing aside, the plot's one of the most original in recent years, and like Chopin himself, players are likely to find themselves wondering where his dreams will take them next.
No one actually thinks about something as obvious as that in their daily life.
In your quest for Count Waltz, Chopin and company traverse through a number of world areas, landmarks, and towns connected in a linear fashion. Dungeons and outdoor areas are beautiful but brief, and provide little in the way of challenge from puzzles and mazes. Enemies in these areas are represented visually on the map and follow small preset paths. Sneaking past hostiles is an often favorable choice, adding to the ease of travel. Dungeon crawling, exploration, and the challenge derived from them are almost non-existent in this format, working as set pieces to advance plot and house monsters.
Well, look at that!
Occasionally, you'll come across scattered remnants of Chopin's music, called score pieces, which compose the bass line for the game's predominant side quest. Playing these ditties with strangers that have complementary pieces gets you a grade, with high marks netting an item. Compared to other side quest endeavors in the genre, score piece collecting rubs off as a little insubstantial, though it does give players something to do outside of pressing through areas. While your dungeon running experience may stay relatively constant, your approach to combat will fluctuate over time when the party levels. Gradually, the system mechanics of battle will alter to hinder some aspects, like time and preparation in favor of added features such as chaining special maneuvers. While the overall game plan may never change, the party levels keep players thinking by introducing new ways to approach enemies and variables to play with in battle. A tactic that may have worked earlier on may not be as efficient as something else you come up with to adapt to the recent changes. The 40-hour marketing spin is casually tossed out these days, and with Eternal Sonata, it may very well be true, given you take up all of its side quests and score hunting. Worldly obstacles are often elementary, and grinding is far from mandatory as long as you don't run from every encounter. It's safe to say that the game's difficulty is forgiving, but there is definitely some time to be spent in the twilight of Chopin's mind.
But if something cannot be recognized, does it even exist?
The game's explorative depth may not exactly strike a high note, but Eternal Sonata's battle system is no slouch when it comes to action-packed beatdowns. Similar to the Tales and Star Ocean approach to combat, battle in Eternal Sonata is done on a semi-active battle system where players scamper to and fro on a map with a limited amount of time to do actions per turn. Party levels will gradually change various factors affecting combat, but the options remain the same. With little to no time to sift through menus, items are kept on standby in sets to use quickly in battle. Working through your item belt works well enough, but having to restock it every time your reserves deplete gets repetitive, especially when you go through healing items like candy. Attacking is your bread and butter and comes in two flavors, regular and strong moves. Strong moves can be spammed but eat up a lot of time, while it's far more advantageous to string up regular attacks to build echo points. These points build up the echo meter, where topping combos off with a special move blows the powder keg for a more explosive and damaging finish. Then there's the light and dark mechanic, a pervasive element that affects ally and enemy alike. On the map, there will be light and shadowy areas, and standing in each spot affects your moveset. Adversely, enemies can also take on different forms as they shift in and out of daylight. Lack of sunlight or the sudden morph of an enemy can quickly change the climate of battle if you're not actively controlling it. Sure, Chopin can rain down a crescendo of ass-whooping, but his enemies can dish out just as much pain in turn. Thankfully, there's blocking, which allows the player to hit the guard button at opportune times to reduce the damage taken from enemy strikes. Not only does it give players something productive to do during enemy turns, but it serves as a crutch in difficult battles. A boss sucker punch can leave you floored, but learning to block can trivialize the damage to something much more manageable. Like most RPGs, players will find themselves in the throes of battle often, and it's fortunate that Eternal Sonata has come up with a system simple enough to grasp, yet deep enough to keep players on their toes. Each of the characters fight in their own distinct way, allowing for a myriad of opportunities to create the perfect balance of offensive and defensive combos. The end results are battles that are short, spry, and varied, like manic piano minuets that play out in real time. If it isn't clear by now, Eternal Sonata is steeped in orchestral overtones and classical music motifs. It's a thoroughly consistent theme that permeates all aspects of the game, from the charming locales coined after musical terms to minute details like the mandolin and saber-like amalgamation of Allegretto's sword. The musical theme also persists in brief interludes where players get a little insight on Chopin's music through slideshows and contextual background notes. Though it's filled to the brim with Chopin's own work, performed by noted pianist Stanislav Bunin, Eternal Sonata also has a breadth of original compositions by Motoi Sakuraba that do the pianist-style justice. With all of these musical elements in tow, gorgeous cel-shaded graphics with fantastic designs and fluid animations round out the package for a complete storybook aesthetic that's a refreshingly fluorescent sachet away from the gravelly grays and browns of next-gen post-apocalyptic realism. Despite a few sour notes, Eternal Sonata comes together in a way that few can match, with its consistent and colorful musical atmosphere. Xbots bemoaning the lack of genre variety for their console can worry no longer, as the game's one of the best RPGs in the market right now. If you have any reservations, don't miss a half step. Crescendo has a hit on their hands, and Eternal Sonata has just the bravado the 360 needs.
This is probably too hard for you to understand.
I guess.